It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today. As Amy said, my name is Steve Albertson. I'm an Illinois licensed massage therapist, and I'm currently in my 23rd year of practice doing that. I actually have a technical background in engineering, and before I became a massage therapist, I worked here for Northwestern School of Engineering, and I've always been fascinated by the mechanics and relationships of how things move. And the human body is this wonderful, complex machine with interconnecting systems. And not only our bones and muscles acting like pulleys and levers, but we add in influences of our nervous system, our circulatory system, and they all have to play together nicely so we can do what we need to do during the day. It's actually a fascinating study, and I've really enjoyed learning about it and working with it. So in seeing clients throughout the years, I've seen patterns emerge in why people come to see me for massage. And as an example, one thing I'd love to cite is the fact that in November we suddenly start to see people complaining of shoulder problems, and the question is, well, why is that? Well, the thing is that people have had about a month of putting on a coat, and they're having to, fish their arm through the arm hole of the coat, and it really seems to bring up any issues that they might have in the shoulder. So they're more aware of this. So that's one pattern. So another is like when we're looking at a student population, we often see discomfort that comes up that's tied to ergonomics. So for many of you, you are in a new setting. You have different furniture. You're sleeping in a different bed. You have different chair that you're working with. Maybe your workstation is different. And add to that new patterns in your life. So maybe your sleep patterns are different. Maybe your study patterns are different. Maybe you're having to spend more time at the computer, more time doing whatever it is that's associated with your school. So these things can add into sort of the physical part of what's going on. Now, things change perhaps or become more accelerated as the students get further along in their study and they declare a major. So what I'm talking about here is an example of maybe the chemistry major who is at a bench top a lot. We get that forward head, arms out in front, maybe doing some work with whatever, looking through a microscope. All of these things creating physical patterns. People who are music majors, you have all the repetitive motion of playing a musical instrument. Violin players, I think, have it the worst because they have this cocked head. They're bringing their arm out in front. The bowing arm is coming across constantly. They have shoulder, neck, back issues. Every instrument has its own thing, and repetitive strain becomes a real issue. People who are involved with the humanities, you're spending a lot of time with reading, writing, more time at the computer, certainly. So all of this stuff adds in. Whenever there's an excess of activity in one particular area, we tend to start seeing dysfunction that comes as a result of that. So COVID, though, has been a huge disruptor in a lot of these usual patterns. And actually, it's front of a lot of its own issues. So normally when I do this kind of a talk, we have this discussion with people who are out in the workplace. We talk about how working at home now is different, how their nice, well set up ergonomic chair and desk at work has now been replaced by maybe working at the dining room table at home. They're sitting in a chair that's really not designed to be sat in for 8 hours at a time, and all of the stuff that goes with that. But in talking with the student population, you guys actually have been doing this for years, right? Perfected the art of identifying and using a makeshift workstation. So you're the experts at this, and in that respect, not much change for you. But in any case, you know, everyone, I think, everyone has been leading some degree of more sedentary lifestyle. So, with less opportunity for in person interaction, we're seeing more social media, more Zoom, video chat, text, lots of time looking down at a phone. So, you're looking down, you have maybe bad seating, you're extended periods of time. And one of the big things that happens is that people start developing discomfort in the back of the neck. And one really common thing is they'll describe a painful sensation that goes right down between their spine and shoulder blade. It's kind of a burning sensation, and it's just really annoying. So when we look at the mechanics of oftentimes what's causing that, um, let's look at using the phone or using the screen. So you get a forward head posture, and when you do that, the muscles here that go from here to here, they adaptively shorten. They think like this is the new normal, right? You've got a forward head. And then the muscles in the back of the neck, they engage to try to keep your head upright from falling forward. So those muscles just get tired. They're just fatigued. And then the muscles up here in your sort of upper chest, the upper pec, these roll forward. So from the side, they come forward. As you hold your arms out, they roll forward. So these muscles adaptively shorten as well. And so what that means is the opposite muscles, which are the ones that go right down the middle of the back, those end up having to engage and elongate. And that's really hard work for a muscle. So they end up crying out that they're really unhappy. So um, that's one of the dynamics we end up with, and we see a lot. But we add to this stress. All right. So for many of you who are incoming now, freshmen, you've moved away from your familiar place. You're now in a new setting, and for all of you, you're having to navigate the being a college student at a top tier university, and all the expectations that go with that. Right. On top of everything else, there's the stress of existing in this new COVID world. We're all getting used to that. Not to mention the stress that comes with our everyday world events, no loss for that, as well as our interpersonal relationships. So, why is this important? Well, the research evidence is pretty clear that increased stress can have a big effect on how people feel physically. So one way to think about this is that the more stress you're under, the less cushion your central nervous system has for handling other things. So when you're under mental and emotional stress, you're more likely to be aware of physical pain and discomfort. So more stress, you end up feeling more pain and discomfort. You're more likely to be aware of that. And then the more aware you are of that discomfort, the more it feeds your stress level. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that keeps going until, hey, something changes. So people use massage therapy as a way to help reduce their stress levels, reduce their physical discomfort, and address restrictions in movement. And when I see a client, I always ask, what have you done to seek some relief? And, a lot of times people just kind of shrug and say, well, not much. I maybe pop some Motrin, maybe I had a friend rub it or whatever. But, I think, wow, if they had done some really simple intervention at home, maybe it wouldn't have gotten this bad. So I'm a big proponent of addressing issues as they emerge instead of waiting until they fester into something that's more uncomfortable and more persistent. So, you want to deal with these things as soon as they come up before you actually have to seek help. So I like to find things that are simple to do and that don't require fancy equipment. In fact, simple household objects can often provide exactly the kind of thing that you need. Um, and some things don't even require any objects at all. Um, taken, for example, breathing. And this is where we start doing some of the audience participation work. And I want you to follow along. We're going to do a little breathing exercise, and breathing is important. One of the things, again, I'm going to go back to research because I think that's the most valid way of looking at these things. Research is showing a very strong correlation between people that experience chronic pain and people who breathe shallow, right? So they're not, they're breathing, but they're not holding the air in long enough to fully oxygenate, fully take advantage of the oxygen that's in the lungs. So you never get a good transfer. Um, and so what's happening is people, they'll breathe in, but they'll breathe out too quickly and just kind of expel it right away. So what we're looking at is, breathing a little slower, just slowing down that process. And this is a great exercise for everyone, not only physically, but it's a great way to sort of center yourself mentally. So thinking about your breathing rather than what's going on in the world. So let's start this out. I'm going to tell you first what the process is, and then we're going to go through this. So we're going to have you sit up straight, find a place where you can make your upper body erect. I don't want you slouched over at all. You can do this sitting, standing, laying down, just as long as you're not crunched over in the front. And I just want you to think about filling your entire front of your body with air. So think of it going deep, deep below your rib cage. It doesn't actually do that, but the visualization helps. So breathing in, filling everything, and then breathing out is going to be the key here. This is the really important thing. I want you to visualize a candle in front of your face, a lit candle, and the flame is sitting there, and you are going to strive to have the least amount of movement in the flame as possible. And you're going to accomplish that by exhaling with pursed lips. So, like this. It's like you're blowing through a very small straw, right? And that's going to be your exhale. So we're going to control the exhale through a little hole in between our lips. So let's all do this. Let's have you just take a deep breath in, just fill your lungs. And I want this exhale to actually last 15 seconds. So fill your lungs and then, all right, let's go ahead. Exhale. Okay. How many had to take another breath? Let's just do that again. Now that you got the hang of it, we'll do that again. So sit back, maybe close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And once again, exhale. Okay, great. And you can work on that, even extending that time if you can. It'd be wonderful. So it's a nice place for us to start here. Um, we talked about the forward head posture, right? Before that seems to come with a lot of phone use and screen use, and a lot of times with computer use, and is often something that students will complain of. One of the things we like to do is to provide opportunity to move around and try to counteract some of those shortened movements. Um, the neck is often an area where people feel discomfort, and it's really nice to get good motion in the neck, explore all the different planes of motion. Whenever we do something like this, we want to avoid any fast motions. We don't want to do any bounces. This is a little stretch thing. So you should never feel pain when you stretch. I want you to know this first and foremost. Never feel pain. If you do, that's time to back off. Your body's telling you something. But just go to that point where, before that, before it's painful. So you want to just get as much movement as you can in within the range of your comfort. So one thing we're going to start off with is the side of the neck. Now I'm gonna have to move my camera around here a little bit, and I'm sitting on a chair, and one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my hand underneath the chair, and I'm just going to grab the chair like that. And what that does is it stabilizes my shoulder and doesn't allow my shoulder to come up when I do this. So I hold on to the bottom of the chair, and then I can simply bring my hand over and, bring my head to my other shoulder, my ear to my other shoulder. Okay, we do the one side, and then we can shift in the chair and do the same thing over here. Okay, that's just a nice little stretch. Hold it for a little while. And remember, the main thing you want to do is explore all the different planes of motion. So coming forward, bringing your chin to your chest. This is a great one to do in the shower with the hot water on the back of your neck. Bring that forward. Great. You can do a head twist. So once again, I'm going to put my hand on the bottom of the chair and put both hands in actually, and bring my head to the side, and you can do the other side as well. So what I want to do next, let's see, I'm going to stand up for this. Oops, sorry. There we go. So one of the things also that I'd like to think about relating specifically to that forward head posture is what can we do to open this up and open this up? And the yoga folks might refer to this as a sun salutation, but it's basically getting your shoulders back and your head back. This is a really great thing to do if you've been sitting at the computer for a while, if you've been on your phone for a while. Just think of the opposite motion from the one that you're in when you're doing that activity, and just getting that to mobilize. Oh yeah, and then actually, another one too is putting your hands behind your back and lifting up, and just, getting things to stretch, opening the chest. Um, people, when you talk about massage, people have a lot of ideas about massage based on what they've experienced from family, what they see in the movies and TV. And I think a lot of times we see this happens a lot with family. It's like, they say, rub my neck, and they get in there and they do sort of this grabbing, pinching thing that's really aggressive, and it ends up hurting. And you're thinking, oh, is this supposed to be helping me? It's really kind of aggravating stuff. So I want to get away from some of this kind of stuff, the notion that massage is this. It can be, but, done slightly differently. But I want you to think about the value of compression or a sustained pressure in an area that's causing you some discomfort. So how can you do that? How can you do, especially when it's in your back, and you've got no one there to rub your back? How can you get some relief by just applying some pressure to the area? I'm going to move the camera again because we're going to talk about some specific tools. There we go. One of the things I really like are tennis ball. This is a easy, inexpensive thing. You can pick up a tube of tennis balls at Target. One thing that's great about a tennis ball is the fact that there is some resilience to it. All right, so it's got some squish to it. It's not hard like a golf ball or a lacrosse ball. Some people say, yeah, I got a lacrosse ball in there, and that's not really always the best idea. Having it be harder and more painful isn't always the best solution. I find that the tennis ball works really well because it does have that resilience. There are other balls like this. Once again, it's got resilience. It's called a super pinky. You find these CVS, Walgreens, whatever, Target. One thing I like to do with the tennis ball is put the ball between my back and the wall and then lean against it, right? And you can roll it around, find that sweet spot, hang in there for 5-10 seconds, go on to another spot that hurts, hang in there for another 5 seconds. But the problem that we always have is, how do you put that ball in place and keep it from slipping away? So this is what I love to do, is find an old sock. The longer the sock, the better. And what I've done here is I've just put the tennis ball into the sock and moved it down to the toe, right? And so what this looks like, see if I can hopefully get the camera right, is that now I can just take this sock, throw it over my shoulder, and lean against the wall. Now I've got the pressure of that tennis ball wherever right there. That's perfect. I love it. So you can guide wherever you need the pressure. You get direct feedback and just kind of hang out there. Move, press in again, move, press in again. And then actually, if you can combine maybe some arm movement, shoulder movement, move your head, and getting that movement in there provides another level of input to the nerves, and can be helpful in alleviating some of the discomfort you feel. I'm sorry, trying to get the camera. Um, the other things you can do. Oh, and by the way, the tennis ball is not limited to doing stuff on your back. You can also use it on your forearm, right? Forearm. You can use it on your thigh. You can even use it on your hip, laying on the floor, similar to what you do with your back, finding spots in your hip. Another convenient and easy, inexpensive thing that you can find is, here I have a can of soup. You don't have to use cream of mushroom or green beans, in different size. You find a can that fits your hand the best. And you can use this as a rolling piece. So rolling like that. And once again, you can also do that with your leg, your thigh. Um, Both the tennis ball and the can both work really well on the bottom of your feet. So think of my hand as being a foot and this piece, desk, as being the floor. Before you get out of bed in the morning, you can just roll the arch of your foot. You can use the tennis ball to do the same. Okay. Getting really inventive here. This is all about being creative. You can, if you want to do some real pointed work, real specific on on your hand, you can use the eraser end. That's the important thing. Use the eraser end of your pencil and get in there between your fingers. Even the handle part of a screwdriver or an umbrella or something, you can use that. You can use that. And it's often just a little bit easier on the hand that's providing the pressure, and it's a little more direct and can actually be more effective. Other than that, there are, commercial items available like this. It's called a Theracane. These run about 30 bucks or so. They're available. You can get them on Amazon. Whole Foods has and there's different brands and knockoffs. It just, what's nice is it allows you to get pressure to certain places on your body without contorting yourself into those positions. So that can be a nice little tool. Sometimes, we have a friend that, it'd be great to have a friend rub our shoulders or our feet or our legs or something. And right now, I just want to talk to you guys about the importance of being careful with that in terms of COVID. So, you really, if you're going to be doing any of that, it really should only be with people that are in your quarantine pod, somebody you've been quarantining with. And remember, always wear a mask and make sure you're washing your hands. It is close contact. So wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer, what have you. So, uh, and now during COVID, there have been a lot of questions about going to get a massage from someplace. Is it safe to do that? And the massage profession was actually on pause for about 3 to 4 months here in Illinois, while we figured out all how all this impacts what we do. But we're back now and we're working, and there's a lot of things that we do differently than we did before. Right now, the state of Illinois has tier 3 restrictions on massage therapy. So that means right now, anybody seeking massage from a professional needs a doctor's note. We're expecting that restriction to be lifted very soon, within the next week or so. So the numbers are looking good in that regard. So just like anything, we now know that proper precautions and procedures are really key to maintaining a safe environment for us as therapists as well as our clients. So if you do go for massage, you should expect both you and your therapist to wear masks during your session. You should also expect to have your temperature checked and have your answer some questions about your exposure risk. I think we're all pretty used to that being true in a lot of environments. So, fortunately, our industry of massage therapy, we have a number of really good resources available to help guide our safe practices. And you should always feel free to ask your therapist about cleaning and disinfecting policies that they're using. So I want to let you guys know about a professional massage therapy facility that you have available to you right here on campus. And as Amy said, it's the Wellness Suite, which is part of the Henry Crown Sports Pavilion up on North Campus. They have a great facility with actually a number of licensed massage therapists who are there to help you with your physical recovery issues, increasing range of motion, stress reduction, and basically, they help to serve as an adjunct to your overall wellness plan. So these guys are maintaining strict protocols for health and safety, and actually going above and beyond the mainstream recommendations, things like air purifiers in all the rooms, very thorough cleaning, disinfecting procedures, really ultimately to keep everyone safe. So you can set up an appointment by calling the Henry Crown Sports Pavilion membership office, or better yet, just visit their website at nurecreation.com. So thank you. I want to thank you all for joining this session today. Um, I hope this was helpful for you and giving you some ideas of some simple things you can do to provide a little relief for muscle discomfort, as well as resources to follow up with to get help from a qualified massage therapist. So thanks so much. Welcome back to Evanston for those of you returning. Welcome to Evanston for those of you who are here for the first time, and good luck to all of you.